Hi there, I'm Scott Lowe with ActualTech Media, and I'm here today at WhiteHat Security, where I'm joined by Setumadhav Kulkarni, who's the Vice President for Strategy and Business Development. Setu, thank you for having us in your offices today.
Scott, it's our pleasure.
So, we have development, we have security, we have operations, we've adopted DevOps, a culture of DevOps in lots of organizations, but there's something new, DevSecOps. Tell us about that.
So, the idea here with DevSecOps is really simple if you think about it. It's about making sure that the software that you're producing through the DevOps pipeline is secure. Now, I think what's important to note here is you could have done this many different ways. You could have added security in many different ways, and people have tried. They've tried to bolt on security at the end. But the results are, for all of us, are to see, right? Look at the number of breaches out there. With today's modern kind of business frameworks, people are producing applications pretty rapidly because they've got to meet business needs. DevOps actually presents a great vehicle to introduce security into the software lifecycle. Why? Because to your point, DevOps has been around for 7-8 years, and everybody's adopted DevOps. Everybody understands DevOps. DevOps is a role, it's a thing in companies. So if you could introduce one more thing as a part of DevOps, that muscle memory already exists for DevOps. So you can add security in at the right inflection points in the DevOps cycle. It'll become really easy for people to embed security throughout the software lifecycle.
So one of the things I like to think about with this is almost like think about it as baking. So you can make the cookie mix and then pour the corn or whatever it is on top of the cookies, and then that's the old way we did things. We would add things after the fact. But they don't taste very good, and the result's not always great. But if you do it the way you're supposed to do it, which is to integrate everything from the beginning and think about it from a security-first mindset from the start, that's really what we get with DevSecOps, isn't it?
It is. It's like adding chocolate chips in at the right time.
Right.
Right, and making a really tasty, delicious cookie. Right, that's the whole idea. You're absolutely right. Now, using that analogy, making cookies, everybody gets it now. It's like DevOps. Everybody gets it. Everybody knows that there's a recipe. You use the recipe. You've got the right set of instructions. And if you can figure out where to add the chocolate chips, you're going to get a really tasty cookie. If you figure out where to add security in your DevOps cycle, you're going to implement DevSecOps and get a really secure product. So I like the analogy. It's a great analogy.
So one of the things this does for you is you don't worry about the holes throughout the porous nature of an organization, because you're going to be thinking about all that as part of the life cycle of the development process. So you close a lot of those potential opportunities for breach. Hopefully, if you're looking at this more holistically than looking at it as a bolt-on afterthought.
Absolutely. One of the things that DevOps has done for the software industry is it's also changed the culture a little bit, right? Actually, quite a bit. If you look at DevOps, one of the underpinnings of DevOps is collaboration and communication. So if you can collaborate around security, get more people in the security conversation, people become a lot more aware. If you're talking about security in your sprints, in your daily stand-ups, security becomes front of mind, much like quality. And that's the kind of other benefit of using DevOps as a vehicle to introduce security.
So what, from an outcomes perspective, what is this doing for organizations from a security perspective at the end of the day? Like, what are the top 3 things they're seeing by adopting a culture of DevSecOps versus doing it the old way?
So a few different things, right? One, if we start at a high level from a culture perspective, everybody's thinking, talking about security, and everybody's learning on the way, right? It is a journey. It's an educational journey where people get introduced to security, and over a period of time, they understand it more intimately and they're able to affect a bigger change. So that's obviously number one. And that's a more intangible outcome, so to say. Your entire workforce becomes more security trained and security conscious. The more tangible benefits are also measurable, right? For example, how long does it take for an organization to fix a critical vulnerability? If you've embedded DevOps, security into DevOps in the right way, you can start fixing critical security vulnerabilities within a sprint, versus waiting for 6 months and then producing that in your backlog, promoting it, and then trying to address it in a more waterfallish way. So I think there are intangible benefits more around security culture, security consciousness, but then more tangible benefits on how quickly can you react to critical security vulnerabilities.
And I think one of the things you mentioned there about waiting for 6 months while you make it part of the development process, you don't want to see security as just another feature in your product. You want it to be the product. I mean, it should be a core part of the product, not a feature, because it's not optional these days.
It is not optional. Look, is security optional in any other walk of life? It is not. And the other thing about security in any other walk of life is it's implicit. You don't wake up worrying about security. You trust that there is security in the society.
Right.
And we've got to do that for applications as well. Why? Because these applications today are probably touching billions of people, right? Ultimately, these applications are serving millions and billions of people. So why don't we get on a mission to embed security within all the applications that ever go out? And that's what we're all about at WhiteHat.
And we're seeing benefits in the marketplace as a result.
For sure, we are, right? And to customers, the benefit really shows up in repeat customers for themselves because their applications are secure. Their customers feel secure working on their platform, transacting from a business perspective. So yes, there are many long-term benefits of embedding security into DevOps.
Very good. Setu, thank you very much for this conversation.
It's been my pleasure, Scott.
And thank you to our audience for watching this video.